If you want to bend an object in Blender, there are two super useful methods you should know: the Simple Deform modifier for fast, clean bends, and the Lattice modifier for more complex shapes. In this tutorial, I'll show you both methods step by step, so you can choose the one that fits your project best. If this video helps you out, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more Blender tutorials. Let's jump in. First, let's start with the fastest method, which is the Simple Deform modifier. This works really well for objects like pipes, planks, rails, or anything long and fairly simple that needs to curve along one axis. Select your object in the viewport, then go over to the Modifier Properties tab, which is the blue wrench icon. Click Add Modifier, and choose Simple Deform from the list. Once the modifier is added, you'll see several options, but the one we want is Mode. Change the mode to Bend. As soon as you do that, your object may start bending in a very obvious way, but it might not look quite right yet. That's completely normal. The most important setting here is the angle value. Increase the angle to make the object bend more dramatically, or reduce it if you want a softer curve. If the bend looks twisted, stretched, or just plain wrong, the issue is usually the deform axis. Try switching between X, Y, and Z until the object bends in the direction you want. This is one of the most common fixes, and it often solves the problem instantly. Now here's a really helpful pro tip. If the bend still looks broken, weird, or off-center, add an empty to your scene. You can do that by pressing Shift+A, then going to Empty and choosing Plane Axis. Position the empty near your object, and then go back to the Simple Deform modifier. In the Origin field, select that empty. Once the empty is assigned as the origin, you can rotate it to control how the object bends. This gives you a lot more flexibility and makes the deformation much easier to control. It's especially useful when you want the curve to happen in a very specific direction. Now let's move on to the second method, which is the Lattice modifier. This is the better choice when you're working with a more detailed object and you want to bend it smoothly without creating messy geometry issues. To begin, press Shift+A and add a lattice to your scene. You may need to scale it up so it fully surrounds the object you want to bend. Make sure the entire mesh sits inside the lattice cage, because the object will be controlled by the lattice shape. Next, select the lattice itself and go to the Lattice Data tab, which is the green box icon in the Properties panel. Here you'll see resolution settings like U, V, and W. Increasing these values adds more grid points to the lattice, which gives you finer control over the bend. If you want a smoother, more precise deformation, a higher resolution is usually better. After that, select your object, go back to the Modifier Properties tab, and add a lattice modifier. In the Object field, choose the lattice you just created. This links your mesh to the lattice, so any changes you make to the lattice will affect the object. Now select the lattice and press Tab to enter Edit mode. You'll see the control points of the lattice, and this is where the magic happens. Move those points around, and your object will bend, curve, and reshape to follow the lattice smoothly. This method is perfect when you need more control, or when your object has more detail and you want to avoid distortion. So to quickly recap, use Simple Deform when you want a fast bend on a simple object, and use Lattice when you want smoother control over a more complex mesh. If the bend looks wrong in Simple Deform, check the axis and try using an empty as the origin. If you want more natural shaping with a detailed model, the Lattice method is usually the better option. If this tutorial helped you, please like the video, subscribe for more Blender tips, and share it with someone who is learning Blender too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.